Welcome back to the regular exclusive podcast. And before we get into Scary Movie 4, rounding out our Scary Movie-a-thon, we want to do a quick PSA. Go see The Backrooms and Obsessions. You really, if you haven't already, that's on you, but go do it because it's awesome.
Yeah, we saw both of them already. Backrooms just came out this past weekend, and it's already breaking records. But Obsession is breaking records that haven't been broken since fucking ET. So if you haven't seen that yet, it keeps continuing to make more money because the word of mouth is that fucking good. So go see that if you have not. It is literally, I think, a movie that everyone will enjoy. And then I think Backrooms is a little bit more experimental, but as somebody who really has not a good track record with experimental films, I actually really enjoyed it. So I say it's worth it. And it's cool to have two different kind of experiences in horror at the box office killing it.
Yeah. Even though they're both crushing it, they're not really comparable.
No, they're very different.
Two totally different kinds of movies. Obsession, more traditional narrative, story arc, character arcs. Yeah, Backrooms is a lot more just it's all vibes. It's just uncomfortable. What is this Backrooms thing? And it's real, but also the performances are really good in it. So, but they are a blast, and also it's fun going to the theaters in a packed movie theater, and both of these movies are just drawing crowds in, and so it's awesome. So we should go
for
support
good
it.
Reason. Exactly. So yeah, we might talk a little bit more about them next week in the intro. So if you haven't already, please go see both of these playing in theaters, Obsession and Backrooms.
Yeah. And so let's get to Scary Movie, because Scary Movie 6 is coming out this week. And
I can't wait. I'm literally this countdown of, so we're talking Scary Movie 4 today, which is the second movie without the weigh-ins. But I'm excited to be talking about this because every week I've just been more and more excited. But this week it's fully kicked in. I'm just I cannot wait. I might go Friday night. I never try to go Friday night for a movie, but I might go Friday night, opening night crowd,
Oh,
for Scary Movie.
This is a great movie to go opening night because it's a comedy. You're going to be laughing. The whole theater is going to be laughing. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It feels like it's going to be a great ass time. So let's throw it back to a little movie called Scary Movie 4 from 2006. Man, I feel old.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the sequel to Scary Movie 3 and the second installment without the weigh-ins, fourth overall.
Yeah. And
how did you feel going back to this? Because I know every week we've talked about it. Wow, now I'm doing it. Fuck you. Scary Movie. Every week you call these Scream, and I'm always making fun, but now it's transferred. It's a disease. Scary Movie 3 was the first one where we were okay, yeah, we know all these movies that they're referencing because we've at least seen them, or at least have heard of them. They were very popular at the time. Scary Movie 4 continues that. So how does it feel going back to this one?
So before we rewatch these, I thought, from my memory, I thought I liked 3 more than I liked 4.
Mm-hmm.
But rewatching, I like 4 more than I like 3.
I think I do too, which is weird because I had the same thought as well, that I thought I liked 3 more than 4. But I think 4 is where this, because it's the same people who did 3. They kind of get really into their jam by this point. It's
kind of like Scary Movie 1 to Scary Movie 2.
Exactly.
And
it's hitting a little bit better and hitting. Plus, also, for me, I think a lot of the parodies in this were just as good as The Ring and Signs as the main two. Having it be The Grudge and War of the Worlds
and was Saw.
It Saw and The Village. There's a lot in here, but it all works out somehow.
Yeah. But I mean, first off, this is probably my second favorite opening in the first 4.
I was going to say that this is the one that I always remember the most, but
it's peak Shaq and peak Dr. Phil.
It the timing of it, I think, was so perfect. And also like hearing Dr. Phil be like, I just tell people to get real. I'm an electrician. Like it was just
I
really
failed you,
funny shit.
Shaquille.
Yeah. And like his whole like own your success. Like it was just great. And then also like Shaq making fun of himself. And it was just a really like also the parody was so well done. Like I don't know if you know this, but fun fact that the set for like the Saw bathroom set for this movie was so like accurate to the first movie that they used it for Saw 3 after this was done filming. They were like,
really?
don't destroy it because we need to actually go back to the OG bathroom. And like you guys just like remade it perfectly. And I was like, that's pretty crazy,
hilarious.
right? Yeah. So it was that good. And that's what's crazy to me is like all the parodies, especially like, I mean, every single one, but like they just really get the visuals down perfectly, where it like just so perfectly matches it. But like those two guys is such a weird combination of like Shaq and Dr. Phil. And it's definitely, I think, the one of the funniest openings of all time.
Yeah, like it's just
Wrong foot. Like it always gets me at the end. Like it's like, oh shit. But like every element of it, like the breakdown of Dr. Phil and like the I guess your mama was right. He's like, Mama, no, she wasn't. Like just all of it. The jokes about Shaq not being able to fucking make a free throw.
Yeah. It was funny
great.
between Shaq, Dr. Phil, and then oh my god, Mike Tyson. Between those three guys, I thought to myself,
parodying
like,
themselves, right?
Yeah,
like in that way.
It's so weird to think about nowadays, like celebrities being comfortable making fun of themselves and like having a sense of humor. And
like the Nick Cage movie,
yeah,
he
like
plays himself. That's a rarity now.
Yeah, like the fact that they got Mike Tyson to do a scene where he is biting everyone's ear off
and spitting them into a mountain of ears. And
Yeah,
he's also dressed as like a woman to play in the boxing, which like is so funny because like I'm sure they didn't mean it as like a trans joke back then, but like I'm sure now like that's just going to keep getting more and more relevant to things that people will like maybe laugh or maybe even be more offended by that as time goes on. But it works so fucking well, that whole sequence, and the way that he like just is so embracing of the fact that he did bite that fucker's ear off is disgusting. And
just
it's
a couple
hilarious.
years earlier.
Yeah, like it's not even that long ago. This is 2006. That's what's crazy. And same with like you just were saying, it's like the height of Shaq and Dr. Phil. And it's like those guys getting up there and like, I mean, you know, idiot people might think Dr. Phil's fucking real, saying like I'm an electrician, but like the fact that they can sit there and joke about themselves is pretty great. Also, like I wanted to ask how it's aged with the joke when he's like, "You've been taken against your will" or something, and then Shaq's like, "Kobe."
Yeah,
like how is that joke aged? Because I feel like nobody talks about that with Kobe Bryant anymore since he passed tragically, right?
Yeah, well, I mean,
the rape accusations is what they're referring to in the joke, right?
No, I thought that they were just referring to like Shaq and Kobe. They played together, but they didn't really like each other.
Oh, I thought it was the fact that he had the allegations where he raped a girl.
Oh no, I don't think that's. I mean,
I thought that's what he was saying when he's like, "You've been taken against your will." It's like Kobe, like that was why I thought. But and also because they are that close.
That maybe could be it. Also,
this was before that. Like this was a long time ago, 2006. I feel like obviously before he died, that was like something that was pretty big in the news.
Yeah, when he died, people stopped talking about that.
Yeah.
The crazy thing with that whole situation is that like Kobe kind of admitted to it. Like I don't remember exactly, but like he kind of said he was sorry, and yeah, people just don't talk about it anymore.
But at least he did. If he acknowledged it and apologized, that's more than like 100% probably of rapists do. I would imagine.
Yeah,
Most of them always say, "I never did anything."
I mean, like I don't think he outright said like, "Hey, sorry, I raped you," but like,
yeah, I mean that would be an awkward apology. But yeah, if he did at least apologize or at least acknowledge it, that's good.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. Now everyone's like, we don't talk about that. Give it like 10 years, there'll probably be a documentary on Netflix and it'll come out again. That's like, I feel like where we're going with like Michael Jackson. There's like a new doc on Netflix this week that'll probably be like, and the movie is like reinvigorating that whole discussion about the kids and like the court case, which is like something people don't talk about because he died. So it's interesting. The
Yeah.
pedophile allegations stop when you die, apparently. But do they? And like, it's also like, if R. Kelly was a better singer, do you think people would probably still want to listen to his music? Is it just because Michael Jackson is one of the best musicians of all time?
Well, I mean, we're seeing this with we've been seeing this for a year with Kanye. Like,
yeah,
think of all the crazy shit that Kanye's done, and then every time something bad comes in or something bad happens, a bunch of people are like, yeah, but High School Dropout was a banger album. Like,
yeah.
808s and Heartbreak changed my life.
But it's like, man, I don't think it hits the same
that was
anymore.
10 years ago and completely unrelated. So
yeah, if he dies tragically, that's gonna be our fucking day to day. Just to see it, it's gonna be like everyone's forgetting about all the Nazi shit. Let's fucking not, guys. Let's just remember people for who they were. That's all I have to say about that. Plus, they make fun of Michael Jackson in both 3 and 4, which is pretty great. And obviously, right? I mean, he died 2008, so.
Yeah.
Since like 2 years before, but man, they really hit him hard again, like they did in the first movie. But this one, he's got all the kids in the War of the Worlds. Do you have a little brother? So creepy.
God, but yeah. So, I mean, this movie also, I love that they bring back Anthony Anderson. And I think I fucked up. I think I fucked up and called him Craig Robinson on the last episode.
I think, and I didn't even catch it because I'm like too much. But yeah, Anthony Anderson and Kevin Hart.
And they are right back to where they left off. They're so fun. They're so funny together. Yeah, the Brokeback Mountain thing was just hilarious, especially like when they get done with the flashback and Anthony Anderson like bites his do-rag and
he's like, "Black God." It's like, why would you do that? It's my first time meeting him. So good. I was just Nolan and I were talking about it when we rewatched this movie. I was like, this movie, I think I do like it more than 3. And he was saying, I can't tell if it's like because overall the movie's just funnier or like for us, it really hits different because my brother-in-law, Andy Sharp, shout out, he works the cranes in West Seattle.
I was thinking that, yeah. When I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, Andy does that.
Dude, we always fucking die with the beginning part. And like when he goes to the bar and he's like, oh yeah, I just fucking sit in a box and operate cranes all day. I hate my job. And then he goes straight to like the crane game and like picks up a fucking like storage container exactly like the ones from work. And it's just like such a really small bit. And I'm like, I'm sure that doesn't hit for like other people as much as it does for like us because we know somebody who does that shit. It just is like, it adds a personal element to the story, but it is really fucking funny. So good. And that guy is great. He's such a great addition.
He that's the one thing with this franchise that's like consistent. Every movie they like bring in a different white guy. Like no one ever comes back again, except for we do get, one scene, the $1 million baby scene where the other guy comes back for just that.
Have you seen Million Dollar Baby?
No,
because Nolan had never seen it either. So he was like, I never knew what the fuck they were referencing with that scene, but I was like, it's great because it is like, it's a fucked up movie.
That flashback is one of the funniest scenes ever. Where just everyone's breaking their necks.
That whole montage is so good, and it weirdly it kind of like it's not gross like a poop or a pee gag, but it's like ugh, like every time you're just like Jesus. People get hit in the neck with meat. Like, what? Like the weirdest ways that everybody breaks their neck is so good.
And the best is the first one because it's like the guy is falling and then it cuts to someone with the stool just like placing the stool right there, so it's like it wasn't there, so just slowly puts it there and then he hits it. And then Mike Tyson just sweeping the room, biting ears
all the corpses. Yeah, it's like Jesus, so fucking funny, man. I feel like it's great to me that like some of the best bits in this movie are not really parodying horror movies, but I don't care. Like War of the Worlds is not technically a horror movie, right?
This is definitely more of like a pop culture parody.
They all have that, but like this one, and they also did they do a commercial in this one?
I was looking for a
That was what I
commercial,
wanted to
and I
ask you.
don't think they did. I took a note though of like there was one that was like, does that? Oh, I was like, does this kind of count as a commercial when Anna Faris is talking to the ghost boy and they just start saying Japanese brands of things?
When they're speaking
Samurai
Japanese.
Toshiba
Yeah.
Mitsubishi.
Tempura, sushi, sashimi. It's like so fucking ridiculous, but it's so great. Yeah, she goes hello, and then she goes hello. It's like what the fuck? So goddamn funny. It's so dumb and yet hilarious. It hits me kind of in the same way. I don't think I mentioned it with the Scary Movie 3, and I know it's bad, but like the way it just fucking works so well is the president in the third movie when he's like, to our Native American friends, he's like, how? And he's like, hey, how are ya? Hey, how are ya? It's like so dumb, but like really funny. Same with that.
Also, I think Leslie Mann, or sorry, Leslie Nielsen, I think he leveled up this movie.
I agree.
He is so goddamn funny. Like when they do the 9/11, the second towers fall, he's like, we'll get to humanity getting wiped out. I gotta know what's going on with this duck.
He's like, the people are gonna die regardless. Okay, this duck still has a fighting chance. Like, so good, because that's the thing is like, did George W. Bush just give him more fucking ammo? I think for the next movie, because that was like the best part, and it also is weirdly nostalgic when I rewatch this now, where I'm like, man, times were simpler when we had an idiot like George W. Bush in the White House. He was such a dumber like person, but like, or he was not, he was actually a lot smarter than Trump. Let's be real. But he was just way less harmless of an idiot, you know? And like, he was just, it was a better time, honestly. Weirdly made me nostalgic for that. And Leslie Nielsen just nailed it, where it's like, it's so good because it's almost like it's barely a parody at this point. Like it's really exactly kind of what was happening, minus the fact that he was invested in the story. But for all we know, that it could have been what he said. Like, you know what I mean? It's not that far off. But you're right. Leslie Nielsen levels up, and then the whole nudity bit at the like the UN is so good, and the like fucking the fact that like the nudity bit is really funny, and it works for a while. Like it goes on for a long time where there's no real other bits besides just like he's nude, and then it's like then everybody's nude, and then it's just like that's the only real joke. But I still found it funny. Like it's dumb, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's like the difference between the first two and these two. It's like there's one joke, nudity, for like about 5 minutes. Like old and ugly people nudity. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
But it still gets me.
Another very nostalgic thing that happened in this movie was when they take the van after the aliens land, and they're like, I forget that character's name. Is like it's like, I want to say it was like Tyrell or no, that's Game of Thrones. Anyway, the mechanic guy, he's like, get in the car, and then he goes to get in the car, and he unlocks the car, and then he pulls the door is
it Redman or no? Am I wrong?
I can't.
I know.
I don't know, but it's like he tries to open the door as he unlocks it, and they just kept going back and forth. Like, I have such vivid memories of this, like being 16 and driving and like doing this with my friends, and then like doing it with my parents when I would try to open the door. They try to like it's like you would get in fights over it, where it's like, stop trying to open the fucking door. Just stop. And so I love when he's like, do I pull on 3 or after? He's like, I say 3. You can open the door anytime.
You don't gotta worry about 4. You got all the time in the world. You don't even gotta worry about 4. It's so fucking true. And it is something that I was like, that's something that like feels very, very like old school, like that people probably don't understand now, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if this guy is actually a rapper, but he's an actor.
Oh, it was Marvin. DeRay Davis.
DeRay Davis, yeah.
Yeah, no. He was just so funny. And oh my God.
That whole bit was great. No, 100%. And then like, I love the fact that I didn't realize this because I totally could not remember, but there is actually a scene where someone gets run over And it's at the very, very end. They've run over fucking what's his face as the narrator.
Oh, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Oh, why am I blanking as his name? He's Mufasa. He's Darth Vader. James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones. Thank you. I was like, why the fuck can't I think of it? But I was like, you're just talking to yourself like shit. And I'm like, that's what I'm thinking about myself, but I'll let you voice it. Yeah. And then also, but I thought it was funny because I was like, I didn't remember that. But yeah, I don't remember if there is a commercial, but there is like I was gonna say, in general, this movie, I love the fact that they also have the Charlie Sheen cameo at the beginning,
Yeah,
and
with
it's
the
ridiculous.
Viagra.
Yeah, it's so funny because they actually have him in the movie too, but the guy who he's parodying is Bill Pullman in The Grudge, and he's the one that kills himself at the beginning. And I just love the fact that Bill Pullman is actually in this movie too. It's like so weird, right? Like, because he's the
That
guy
is.
in The Grudge that kills himself because like the woman was in love with him, and like the husband, spoilers for The Grudge, killed her and the son because she was in love with the teacher guy, the
Yeah.
white guy, and so he kills himself at the beginning of the movie.
Oh,
And
well, before we get to Bill Pullman and the
well, that's what I was
village.
saying. Like, so that's exactly what they were parodying with the Charlie Sheen bit, but like
Yeah.
the whole thing of like him doing the boner pills
Yeah.
and stuff was just delightful. And the cat on the dick never gets old.
Yeah. And then when he falls, it looks like he's
Dick first.
flat, but then it goes to the profile and it's just he's propped up like a tent. You know what actually probably I think does count as a commercial reference is the iPod or the tripod in this case.
Yeah,
Like
you're right.
when it comes up and then it's scrolling, there was definitely a commercial of that.
And it goes down to like awesome 80s, and it's like chameleon. Everyone's like, oh yeah, this is great. And then it's like destroy humanity. It's just good shit. Honestly, like it's funny because it's like we said earlier, this movie doesn't really parody as straight up horror movies as much. Like it does when it does, it's great. Like with The Grudge, it's perfect. And with like when she goes to the office and it's like the chick without the jaw, and she just like everyone's using her to like lick the envelopes and like fucking end up using her as a stapler. Like that's good shit. Yeah. And they really nailed the Grudge elements. And then also I would say The Village, like when they do that is so good. But like it's great because I still think the best parts of this movie are the War of the Worlds mock. Like any of that parody is still, I think, overall the best. But like they really nail the horror ones too.
I thought The Village was so fucking funny. Like
with the way that they all talk.
Yeah, first off, they brought back Carmen Electra and Chris Elliott. Not as the same characters.
That was another big thing for me. It was like bringing them back from like they were. I mean, he was obviously in both, but she was in the first Scary Movie. I guess he wasn't in the first one. He was in the second one.
Yeah, he was only in the second one.
I just assume he's been there since the beginning. That creepy.
He should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Chris Elliott was, I thought, dramatically underutilized in this one compared to the strong hand guy.
Oh, totally.
But he was still really funny. But Carmen Electra,
he's like only in like what 2 scenes, but
yeah, and he just kind of says pee and vagina. That's like kind of all he says.
Yeah, but anytime that they have him and he's parodying the Adrian Brody character, it's really good. Honestly, like it's not much, but he keeps running into the bell and then like stabbing the guy. They're like, well, who the hell let his ass out of jail? It's like, oh, his brother is the mayor. Like the whole joke's about like this village isn't what it used to be. It's just great shit. And then also Carmen Electra parodying Bryce Dallas Howard in The Village is insane. And when she like comes and does the poop bit, it's like ridiculous.
So funny. Oh, I'm not in my house, am I? Really,
like the worst shitting I've ever heard too. And you're like, I can't even fathom that that's coming out of this beautiful woman.
Really, I just love Brenda in the Village sequence where she's just like wanting to fuck that other guy, and she's like, then churning butter.
I can teach him in a room in which there are no others,
or y'all can watch. I don't give a fuck.
I love the fact that Brenda just gets down to business in every scene that she's able to. But when I was just rewatching this, like fucking Anna Faris sitting there with fucking Chris Elliott, the guy with the little strong hand, and he's like doing the like like booger bubble, and then
Yeah.
he's like, when he like lifts her arm and just like sniffs her armpit, her reaction, and like just smacking him with the Bible. I just was like, this is good shit. They could have added 5 more scenes of those two and her
Yeah.
having to like, thwart him off, and that was good shit. But yeah, no, like that was like, honestly, I just love Brenda. And like this is the movie I think where one of my favorite quotes of hers is when like Cindy's like, I thought you were dead. She's like, oh girl, I thought you were dead too. Like just so casual, It's
Yeah.
good shit. Great stuff. But yeah,
And-
for me, like the village thing is so good. And then when they do the like unveiling of the monsters, it's great because they're like they do it kind of like Scooby-Doo or they're like
Yeah.
face Joe. And then but for me, it's just the War of the Worlds shit is so goddamn funny because it's like the kids in that movie were just a next level of like the word. They're probably in the like, they're probably in the top 2, I would imagine, of like the worst children in cinema history. Those two in the original movie. So the fact that like they nail it in this one and they're not even that far off with making fun of them is perfection. Like the son just kicking down the door immediately when he's like, it's locked.
I just love how Tom has that whole ongoing thing about the solenoid. Try another solenoid. Here's a solenoid for good luck.
Yeah. And then Brenda just uses that to hit little John. She's like, oh, thanks, Cindy. That worked great.
My other favorite thing was like when Sydney and Brenda first reconnect. She's like, look at what's going on in the world. And they're like, here's Detroit. And it's like all fires. And then here's Detroit after the aliens.
It's just the tripod walking through and everything's the same. It's like, wow, that was good shit. That hit really hard too in the theaters, I remember. Because that was fucking hilarious.
Well, and I thought this movie ended about as perfect as any of these movies can end, with the whole Tom Cruise on the couch recreating that scene.
It's like one of those pop culture moments that was just so good, and that this guy just really nailed. Like, if you go back and watch that, like it's unsettling.
Yeah.
Watching the original Oprah Winfrey clip with Tom Cruise, not Tom Hanks. Tom Cruise is legit unsettling. And when you if you dive deep, go look at like what Katie Holmes had to do to like get her child and her out of the fucking Scientology shit safely. It's like, what a woman. Way to go. Because that shit was so unsettling. You knew it was like sketchy behind the scenes. But my God, the parody of it is so fucking perfect.
I remember like watching that scene, and then especially like watching it now as an adult. Like he does such an incredible parody of Tom Cruise. I'm like, when I was young, I was like, this guy's gonna be a star. Craig Bierko, you're gonna be a fucking star. And he just didn't end up being a star. And then like as an adult, I'm like, how is this guy not a star after this? Like maybe Tom Cruise shut him down. Maybe Tom Cruise was so offended. He's like, nope, this guy cannot have a future.
Fuck that guy. Honestly, though, this guy, so Craig Bierko, if you want to see him in anything that outside of this, I've seen him. He was in like 1 or 2 episodes, maybe 3 of Sex and the City. And he was like an ADHD guy who like loved jazz. And Carrie was like, I definitely cannot keep a conversation going with this guy, but man, is he good at sex. And so, but he just gets distracted all the time. And he's actually pretty funny. And so that's the only thing I've ever seen him in, though. That was probably definitely actually 100% was before Scary Movie 4. So this really should have given him a lot more to do. It's sad that it didn't. I also love just like him and Molly Shannon with like the ex-wife and like, oh, you look great pregnant. Like, yeah, it's like, and she's walking around doing all the things that you would do if you're pregnant, like resting her hand on her stomach, like leaning, I'm so heavy, like, nor if you're just fat, you're not doing that.
What?
It's so good. And then it's great parody of the mom in the actual movie too.
I thought it was so weird that Molly Shannon was in this movie because she does nothing. I was like, she's so funny. Like,
yeah, she could have a bigger role.
Like, that's a big name. Like, especially in 2006. Like, I feel like Superstar had come out, and everyone knew her from SNL. So it was just like weird to see her as such a small role in this movie. But
Yeah, but she's great. And the fact that like one of my favorite lines is probably one of hers when she's like, when he's like, "Oh, well, you took everything in the divorce except my name." She's like, "Oh, well, the judge granted me that this morning. You're officially known as Horace P. McTitties."
All
So
right,
fucking good.
that's the entire reason they got her. We're like, we need someone to deliver this one line.
Yeah, with such like fucking, and also like the little Japanese ghost boy. I swear to God, that could be the same kid from the actual movie. I was like, this
Yeah.
kid looked so good, and the bits of like him like when he's doing that cat scream, which is
Yeah.
exactly like in The Grudge, and then it like zooms out, and it's like because she's got the flame under his hand, just great shit. They in this movie, it definitely feels like they were getting their shit together a bit more of like, at least for when you're watching it, you know, you feel like, okay, yeah, this feels a bit more like together and a little bit like hitting harder with the jokes than Scary Movie 3,
Yeah.
but like definitely still quite a dip from Scary Movie 1 and 2 still. But
Yeah.
like this one definitely I think is weird how I did not expect it to be probably my one of my more third favorite at least, or at
Yeah.
least over the third movie. And it's weird, but it really just slaps. It's a bit better.
It's good shit. All right.
But
Well,
we're just so hyped now for the new Scary Movie. So
cannot wait. But let's take a little break and then get into The Bride.
What happened?
You had an accident.
An accident, huh?
We dug you up, and we brought you back to life.
Get on stage, and I call her by her first name.
What did you want with a dead girl?
I'm the same, born from the dead. I am a monster.
Yeah, so am I.
This world is a black hole.
The corrupt are going to see life is here and it's coming to you from the monsters.
Yes! Yes!
Everybody dance! Everybody sing!
Please don't hurt me, please. I'm sorry. What are you sorry for? Did you do something wrong? Something you thought you might get away with?
Stop right there!
The dead have got something to say. And I'm saying it. Everybody sing!
The Bride of Frankenstein.
No, just the bride. Scared?
All right. Here comes the motherfucking bride.
thank you. I was about to say it if you didn't, because that's like, I think a pretty cool opening to a movie. But I know this movie's not very popular, so I'd love to hear what everyone's thoughts are, because so far online, people are just like, this sucks, fuck it, blah, 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 it's the worst. But like, there's not really much discussion, and I feel like this movie's not shitty, and it deserves of actual discussion.
Yeah, I know that it didn't have the best reception, but I didn't realize how much of a bomb it was. Like on a budget of 80 million, it only did like 23 million. And yeah, that's not warranted, because here's how I describe this movie. This was a movie that I really enjoyed and did not understand very much of. Like,
That's honest, though. I appreciate that. That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. If you were to sit here and be like, this fucking sucks, I'd be like, oh boy, maybe it is me. I don't know. Like,
No.
am I crazy?
like no, this was I'm actually mad that I didn't see this in theaters, because
It
like
would have been so good in theaters, right?
this is visually a gorgeous movie, and
Mhm.
Maggie Gyllenhaal directed the fuck out of it. Now, I will say, I don't know if I think Maggie Gyllenhaal is a very good writer, but she is a very good director.
Yeah,
when
I
I-
mean, it's
when I-
only her second feature too. Let's
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
when I say writer, like there was a lot of things that just kind of confused me, but it didn't necessarily like take away from my enjoyment of the movie. And but
I
like
can see that.
but like the trailer for this movie reminded me a lot of Babylon, and a lot of people said it reminded them of Joker Folie Do. I don't think this movie has anything similar with Joker Folie Do.
I think they're gonna say that about anything that involves a toxic, or maybe not toxic, but like
it's the
two
face
people.
paint.
It's the face paint. It's the like love on the run committing crimes. This feels like that's what they're taking from Joker Folie Do, which, as we both know, is not what Fokker. Joker Folie Do is not about like a Bonnie and Clyde situation. So that's just people being idiots and not being able to understand film. But this one is absolutely still not that either. But it does like there's a lot of different elements of this movie. It feels very much like a Frankenstein creature where it's like kind of put together by multiple different pieces that are like not necessarily things that you would think that go together. But I think that they all work, but like there's a version of this movie that works way better, I think, or maybe a little bit more clearer, or maybe really doubles down on maybe one or two themes versus like a lot of different ones,
Yeah.
But
Well,
I still enjoy the fact that it's kind of messy because I feel like our main character, the motherfucking bride, is a messy bitch. And that's what we're supposed to be. Like, I feel like the movie should also be that way. It kind of makes sense.
also, Jessie Buckley gives a tremendous performance in this.
She's really funny and great. And I'm so curious because like I was hoping you'd feel the same way because a lot of people were like, what the fuck was the whole like the possession thing was really weird and like
That's one of the things I don't understand. But
yeah.
But like whenever she had a monologue, like she crushed it. Like the opening monologue is really good. Like when she first gets possessed and she's kind of going back and forth. And it's a very physical performance also because she's just like contorting herself.
Yeah.
But like God, the fucking the Jake Gyllenhaal scene. Like first off, the dancing in the whole like
putting on the Ritz is
great.
People have agreed, even if they didn't like the movie, that's like the best sequence of the whole film.
And then her like speech that she gives, like it's cinema. It's like it's so good, and like I loved her in this movie.
She's a revelation, and it's like no shit, that's best actress winner Jessie Buckley from this year. It's a very different performance, but like it's really, to me, I think layered. I know you don't, so you're saying you don't really understand the Mary Shelley bit and how she's in this story. So let's break it down.
Yeah. So this is something that I was thinking about for at least like the first hour of the movie.
How is she possessed by the author?
Yeah. So I'm like, the spirit of Mary Shelley is possessing a person that lives in the world that her fictitious creation, the monster, exists in.
Yes.
And I'm like I just thought about that for like the first time. I'm like, is he aware? So is Frankenstein fictitious in this also? Are we in a simulation? Like, are we in a story? Or like,
so in the story that we're in, outside of Mary Shelley's kind of like the narrator of the story, like she would be with Frankenstein, where she's like, basically it's like she's transcribing this story that happened. And it's like the way that the actual Frankenstein is written is like letters back and forth with like the ship captain and all these things. So honestly, it could be interpreted as like this is a true fucking, doctor's like claims and like scientific journals. People might dismiss it later on and still think they're crazy, but like it's basically in a universe where like, Dr. Frankenstein was known for like his attempts to create life, and maybe it didn't get out that it really worked or whatever, but because like supposedly the reason that this is interesting is because this whole movie is based on The Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't seen that, it's like it's the sequel to the very original first adaptation, Frankenstein, from like 1931.
And Mary Shelley did not write
The
Bride of Frankenstein.
But The Bride of Frankenstein basically takes parts of the book that they didn't adapt in the first movie, like the whole thing with the blind man and like he actually kills a little girl, things like that. And then the fact that the monster does come back and ask for like a mate.
Mhm.
And that is in the book, but in the original book, like she doesn't get into like he doesn't actually create like, you know, Dr. Frankenstein doesn't make another one. And so the movie adaptation decided, let's do it for real. Like the sequel, Bride of Frankenstein, starts with Mary Shelley at a dinner party or like having tea with her friends, and she's talking about how it's basically the same kind of an environment where she had actually written Frankenstein, which was on a dare with the friends for fun. And that's how she came up with it. It's insane. But that's where the literal Bride of Frankenstein movie adaptation from the 1930s starts. And then she's like, well, let me tell you the rest of the story. And then it goes into the movie. But the same actress who plays the Bride of Frankenstein in the movie plays Mary Shelley at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
And Mary Shelley speaks to the camera like she's, oh, let me tell you the rest of the story. So it's kind of like that. This is by no means, though, a sequel to like the Jacob Elordi Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro, right? But it's basically like, yeah, so Frankenstein exists. He can't die. So he's still living on. And this is basically a new interpretation. Or as Mary Shelley says, you know, in this movie, she's like, this is the story I wanted to tell, but I couldn't because of the time when I told it, right? And so she's basically able to enact the will of what she wants to happen through this character, Ida, aka the bride. Yeah. And she's also doing it as like kind of a feminine rage, or just like a feminine awakening. And basically the whole point of this movie, I think, is to give the character, the bride, an actual voice in the movie and a character, because in the original movie, outside of like the narration at the beginning, she doesn't speak, and she's not in the whole movie until the very end when they finally reanimate her and she just screams like bloody murder when she sees Frankenstein, and then they burn it all down. So like she doesn't even speak in the original movie, The Bride of Frankenstein. So this feels kind of like a reaction to that, like just the fact that like the whole movie, The Bride of Frankenstein, doesn't even feature the Bride of Frankenstein barely, and like she doesn't even speak, right? She's not even given a character or a role. So it's like weird that people are getting offended saying like, oh, how could they say that Mary Shelley is telling this story? Like this is the story she really wanted to tell, but she died and couldn't do it. It's like, how disrespectful. But I'm like, I mean, I kind of feel like the Bride of Frankenstein is not a real character it's not a character officially from the novel. So like, I think Maggie Gyllenhaal can do what she wants. And I like what the message of that is.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that's so offensive to people.
Well, and it's like we kind of talked about this with Wuthering Heights, where, you know, people can do their interpretations of this, but apparently people don't like creative liberties. I don't know.
I guess they're just more sensitive about it now, because it feels like back in the day, I feel like people were pretty forgiving about it. And it was like, oh, this movie takes place in ancient Greece, but everyone's speaking with a British accent. That's fine with me. Like, that doesn't make sense, but people are fine with that. But it's weird here because it's not like she's taking the novel Frankenstein. Like, this is a completely new version of any story about just the bride and what happens when the bride is reanimated, which never happens. And the fact that it's so far removed, it's like over 100 years removed from the original Frankenstein story. So it's like, you know, it's 1936 in like basically Bonnie and Clyde times in Chicago when this happens. And that's like, you'd think that would be enough room for people to go, well, this is clearly not my original Frankenstein novel. Like, I can take it and be okay with something different. But no, it's like, that is not enough for you. Like, clearly this is not. I think it's just the wording of her as Mary Shelley at the beginning saying, this is the real story I wanted to tell. People got really bothered by that. I saw that in a ton of the reviews.
Whenever I hear people say they got really bothered by that, I just wonder, I'm like, how many people actually read the story?
Thank you.
Because like, I know I didn't, and I would never try to act like I did. And
I want to read it, but I have not yet. But like, I would love to, but I will admit, as a huge fan of the like story, I still haven't even fucking read it. So like, what kind of a high fucking, you know, oh, I'm so high and mighty, I haven't even read the original novel that I'm getting so upset about. That's probably what everybody is like. And it's like, have you even watched the original Bride of Frankenstein? Or even like Young Frankenstein, the parody movie, like that one's fine, and it's making fun of all the same shit that Frankenstein did. Oh, I guess it's just parody, so it's okay. But like this movie's clearly not as serious as like Frankenstein, right? Like the original novel.
Yeah, and it's like we see this with like old movies, and like we'll watch an old movie from the 80s or something, and like we'll be like, oh, I can get past the bad graphics or whatever, but it's like we can all agree, like if someone remade this movie today and they did it right, like we would be really happy with that, and like a modern interpretation of a classic story. Like this feels like a modern interpretation of a story, and it's like what's wrong with trying different things?
It makes sense though, because like the discussions online about even Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, like I thought that would have the film bros like frothing at the mouth and like jerking off on each other like until the movie came out. And it's like from everything that they've seen released, they're like, this looks fucking so not accurate to history. And I'm just like, why do we care? Have any of you read a history book lately? We're the dumbest generations now. Like, who the fuck cares? They let it really slide back when people were actually smarter, They
were frothing until they saw that Elliot Page was Achilles, and they're like, not my Achilles.
Okay, we don't know if that's the case. Yeah, I would say like that they might have been frothing at the mouth, but even before that and the Helen of Troy shit, they were still fucking freaking out about the colors being so dark, and there's black, and like they use bright colors, not dark colors. And like there's American accents. Like people were just upset about everything. So maybe that's just the thing. But do you see how like ridiculous it sounds to say this movie is all style and no substance, which is something that I saw a lot as like a critique of the film. Did you feel that way about this movie, that it was all style, no substance? Like I feel like this movie doesn't like has way more substance, and even if you don't fully interpret all of it, like there's a lot here. It's not just like a totally empty movie, right?
Now that I've finished watching the movie, I can say for sure this has a lot of substance, has so much style, but it also has a lot of substance. Now, like I said before, I don't know if I got all of it. I think I missed some things. Some dots weren't totally connecting, but I was like, there's substance here. This sounds like a user error on my part of being able to articulate the substance. But like really, I thought, if I'm being honest, I thought maybe for a little bit, I was like, maybe there's not very much substance up until the ballroom scene, and when she gives her monologue, I was like, okay, there's a lot going on here. I mean, there was some weird things that were happening, like when they were in the movie theater and like they were in the 3D movie and the guy was like finger blasting his girlfriend or something, and I'm like, first off, who's doing that in a packed movie theater? Also, who's doing that in a 3D movie, like wearing those glasses?
Certainly a choice. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I agree that seems a little bit much. But however, like back in the 30s, it feels like, maybe this was the time that the fucking masturbation theaters were invented. So like, it felt like it was the public displays of affection were maybe okay in the theater. I feel like people used to make out and use them to like have sex a lot more than they do now.
The thirsty 30s. But
yeah, I
mean, she was totally in the right to just rip on that dude. I mean, honestly, everyone around them should have been ashamed, because like if there was someone next to me during a movie and they were getting hot and heavy, I'd be like, could you not go to the front row or something? Like, don't do that here. I'm here to watch the movie. Not
go to a movie no one's at, right? Go to the empty theater. Why the fuck are you here on opening night? And 3D is the weird choice. I agree.
If some Gen Z fucker was doing that in the back rooms, I'd be like, you guys get in the back rooms, okay? I'm not here for this.
Gen Z doesn't fuck. We all know that.
That's true.
They don't fuck. They're offended by sexiness. Maybe that's one of the reasons I didn't like this movie. There's a lot of
I think I was watching a different Backrooms movie then, because
yeah. Whoa. Okay. What were you seeing people fucking in the backrooms when you saw it? Okay.
No, people were scared.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, it's one thing to be scared. It's one thing to be fucking.
But but yeah, like this movie has a lot of substance. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of like themes and ideas that are going on. Now, I don't really know if all of them totally worked for me. Like I wasn't really crazy about the whole like side plot with the cops, like Penelope Cruz and the other guy. I did like a little bit of it. Like I liked her whole thing of she's the detective and he's just kind of the face because men don't accept women. But like a lot of their story, I just wasn't really that engaged with. I was like, can we go back to the monsters? But
How harsh of you to say that about Maggie Gyllenhaal's own husband, Peter Sarsgaard, which I do always love him. I think he plays just a really good smarmy guy, but I kind of like that he was actually like a good-hearted kind of a smart, like bad cop in this. And I actually enjoyed his turn because I feel like he normally doesn't get to play any kind of nice part. And if it is, it's always like a fake or it's really pathetic.
yeah, I did like his thing at the
His
end.
turn.
Like when he realized, like because he says like throughout the movies, like that's not my call,
Yeah.
and then
Keeps putting it on someone else. Like he doesn't actually try to do anything to change the status quo.
yeah, it's like he kind of feels like an ally, early on, but then really he's just kind of lazy. Like he ends up contributing to the problem more than addressing the problem. With
Yeah.
sleeping with all of his CIs and stuff.
Yeah, typical cop. Well, what I liked about that is that it did tie into, and I feel like also having like a female doctor, like Dr. Euphonious, which was Annette Bening, always great. I love
Mhm.
her. And I really enjoyed her relationship in the introduction to Frank, aka Christian Bale. Let's talk about him too. But I feel like having a lot of the females being like, actually the detective is a female, but she doesn't get the credit for it. And then also like a female doctor who has to publish under Dr. C. Afronius because they wouldn't publish her as a woman. It's also like that's really tied back to how Frankenstein originally was published. She had to publish it under her husband's name because they wouldn't let a woman publish it. So, I mean, honestly, that all calls back to it. But I'm curious where you come down on Christian Bale's Frankenstein, or Frank, at least in this movie, because he out of sight of Frankenstein and Frank, he doesn't really have a name. But I think I actually really enjoy his character the more I've rewatched this movie. I don't think he's trying to be the showiest performance and like the biggest character. Like I think he's doing a great supporting role.
Yeah.
But I'm curious of what you think because it's a very different interpretation of the creature compared to Jacob Elordi
Yeah.
in Guillermo del Toro.
Before we go there, I wanted to put a hat on the conversation of all style, no substance. We've talked about this criticism of this movie prior to this, and I've thought about it, and I think I know the people who say this movie has all style, no substance are the same people who love Zack Snyder movies. And Zack Snyder is the king of all style, no substance.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's like they're just the pot calling the kettle black, but they don't even realize that they're like obsessed with the thing that is doing exactly what they're criticizing this movie of. Because this and Wuthering Heights, that was the number one criticism. It's just, I think it's because the style is so well realized in both movies, and maybe because they're directed by a female, that it's easier to say, "Oh, she got lost up in the production design and the dance sequences and the costumes and all that," versus like actually having a good storyline. Where I'm like, I feel like this is a very enjoyable movie. It's telling a lot of different things. I think you could focus it more and just focus it on the feminine rage and kind of tone down some of the other stuff would work a little bit more clear. It'd be more of a traditional film, but I like the fact that this movie is kind of like stitched together like The Creature in all these different types of movies thrown into one. But it really feels like that's what being a woman is all these different roles and things that you're trying to do and trying to be perfect at all times and do everything for everyone, but you can't really get a good hold on any of it.
Yeah, and like the style, and the big thing about this is that the style of this movie ties directly into the themes of the movie.
The story, exactly.
And that's what I thought was really good. Like, while I didn't, like I was saying, like I didn't get everything. It's probably because I'm a dude, but while I didn't get anything, I feel like the reason I enjoyed watching the movie is like it felt like a music video. Like I felt like the visuals and everything that was happening, I could understand that more
The
than
visual
like
storytelling,
some of the
yeah.
other stuff that I like that kind of went over my head a little bit. Like
Yeah.
whenever Mary Shelley was talking, I was like, I cannot follow what she's saying. Like I don't understand. But then just like the emotion that Jessie
Yeah.
Buckley is just like giving in all of those scenes, I'm like, I'm getting this at least. Like
Yeah. I do think that the Mary Shelley bit is maybe the hardest part for people to wrap their heads around. And like when she does that voice, but like personally, when she's like reanimated, I feel like it really works to have her like kind of possess. Like it might be a weird initial thing in the first scene when she's like getting possessed at dinner and then dies.
yeah, like
'Cause
the
it's
movie
like-
starts with her getting possessed. And I'm like, wait, who's this person?
Yeah, she's literally the bride. And that's what's great is that like once they revive her, I feel that the possession really works well with like the vibe that she's given off, because she's literally like still, even though she is one body, she's still made from multiple parts and she's getting all these different stories. So it's kind of like a different version of Frankenstein's creature where he's like literally stitched together with body parts, but he also has trouble with like the different memories of the different men that he's parts of, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like that feels like kind of something through here where she's getting all these fake memories fed to her by Frank, and then also like struggling with like real memories, trying to even know what her fucking actual name is.
Yeah.
And then when she sees Peter Sarsgaard as the detective, like that jolts her memory and hearing who Ida was. But it's like, but who am I really? And I think the whole movie is like I like the fact that it spurs on other women to like do a brain attack or whatever the fuck and
Yeah.
like just get violent and angry, because I feel like that's kind of the point of the movie is like the bride. It's like a big fuck you for like, there's a movie called The Bride of Frankenstein that like she's barely in the movie. Like this should be a big fucking fuck you kind of a movie. And the bride feels exactly like that kind of a character. Like I
Yeah.
think that's exactly what they're going for. I think if they leaned into it a bit more versus like just one montage where people are dressing up like her and doing attacks, you know, like I feel like there's some things that weren't like fully extended upon or like fully delved into. I love the fact that like the assistant to the doctor is like dressed as a French maid, but also has like the fucking like lip stain thing on later. It's like just great how it's like you see those things and you kind of, and I think Jessie Buckley really sells it, like in those scenes when she's like doing a monologue about her, like what she's dealing with. She really nails it. I think, yeah, maybe like a tighter script or something could have done maybe a little bit better, but I really love how messy this movie is. I think that's like a benefit for it overall. And I think it's supposed to be, and it's supposed to be like violent, angry, like just fucking, you know, all over the place. And
it
I
feels
think it
like
really
very
nails it.
raw.
Yeah, but it's like really, I mean, the breathtaking production design is like very obviously like it's so well detailed and everything like looks like they put so much care into it, but it feels so raw in the terms of like they're just fucking like going for whatever they want and not really giving a fuck about any of this. Like they're not really fully delving into any of these genres or stories really even. They're just kind of like the ultimate thing is her just kind of figuring out who the fuck she is and wading through the bullshit and then realizing like I'm not even just the bride of Frankenstein. I'm just the fucking bride, man. That makes her more free because it's more generic, I think.
Also, that lip stain is iconic.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Halloween costume, I feel like, this year. I mean, maybe not because this movie didn't do well, but like even if it didn't do well, people were still like, this is gonna be a great couple's costume.
Yeah.
If you learn the dance of like the putting on the Ritz, like because the way that they do it, like a horror dance, I still am not quite sure if that sequence is all in Christian Bale's head as Frank or if that's like real. I like to think it's real because I love it. And the way that they're dancing like the dead, it reminded me of the Lady Gaga Dance Until I'm Dead, and like the way that she dances and like that they do that in the Wednesday show. It feels very much like a corpse dancing. And I just really enjoy a corpse dancing, I think. I think it's just like a really cool thing and we should be doing it more. Is dancing like a fucking corpse would.
Yeah, but all that to say, all that is so much more than anything you get out of a Zack Snyder movie, where it's
That's
just
such a great point. I'm so
looked-
proud of you for saying that as a man with a
it's
penis.
such a great looking visuals in his movies with zero substance. It's just we wait until the next time that something goes boom. It's like
Or
a
slow-mo.
it's like a Michael Mann movie, but less. It's even
Yeah.
it's all about the booms.
Yeah. The boobs or the booms.
Depends on the movie, but
Yeah. For talking
but
Transformers.
so but
about those boobs.
those underaged boobs. But back to Christian Bale. I loved him in this.
He's just really good, right? Like it's so different. And I know it's not like the most serious adaptation of The Creature. So it's like hard to compare it to others, but like it's unique. I think it's great.
Yeah, like
I'm glad you agree.
Yeah, and like I don't like it's I didn't even like at any point I never even like had a comparison in my head between him and Jacob Elordi. Like those movies are so these movies are so different from each other. Like I really loved how Christian Bale like kind of came up with this character that's, you know, in Jacob Elordi's Frankenstein, like we see him learn how to essentially exist, and this Frankenstein has existed for a long time, and he's so alone, and
which is something he does share in common with Jacob Elordi's character is the loneliness, and like it's something that all of these versions of The Creature will always have in common. But I feel like Frank really sells it in a way that, like, I mean, he's also the first one to like for sure like actually successfully convince another doctor to make him a mate, and then when they do, it goes well. In every other adaptation, it never goes well. So he's like the most successful creature in that regard, that he actually got a bride and she didn't run away screaming at the first sight of him. But he plays like such like a gentle giant, I want to say, in this
until he curb stomps somebody.
When he switches and gets violent, you're like, okay, this is when it like shows it like 3 times. You're like, damn, this is like American History X all of a sudden. Like it's pretty raw that way. Like it goes for the sexual violence and stuff, like when she's even yelling sexual violence, below the belt violence. My favorite thing that he does in this, I love his like love for her.
Yeah.
Even though he's like feeding her lies this whole movie, you see that he really does love her, and the way that he's like, I just really appreciate when they first are like talking the next morning, and she's like using all of those fucking like just all of those words that are like similar in a row, and she just sounds crazy in like the Mary Shelley voice, and he's like, I love your vocabulary. Or he's like, I mate, like just to respond to whatever. And he's like, your vocabulary is amazing. Like, it's like, he really is in awe of her, which I think is like one of the reasons that it's easy to root for a romance in a feminist story, which normally wouldn't make sense, right? You'd think that like the key moment has to be that when they separate and then they go their separate ways or something.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Bale, he's one of the best actors that's out there right now, because like he can do the method acting thing where he just becomes another person, but like in this, what I really love about him is like the depth of his pain that he has as this character, in that like everything he does throughout this movie is extremely selfish. Like he reanimated someone for his own to deal
carnal
with his
pleasures.
Yeah, to deal with his own loneliness, and then like continuously lies to her throughout the whole movie because she has no memories. He's kind of inceptioning her to like.
Honestly, this feels like the movie Passengers with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, where he like is like his pod breaks, so then he wakes her up because like I need someone to not be lonely as I die, and then pretends like it just happened and they have fallen in love, and then it's like, this is really toxic. What the fuck? But for some reason, this is not so toxic. I'm way more on Frank's side here than Chris Pratt's side in that movie.
Well, and that's just how good Christian Bale is. Like he's doing all these things selfishly, but like he's doing them from such a deep well of pain and loneliness that like, and he also is just, he's so like innocent that it's like we want him to have a companion. But
His reaction to the handshake is like, it was my first time ever. And she's like, and how was it? And he was like,
oh yeah,
like just the way that he responds.
extraordinary.
It was yeah, it was extraordinary. Just like you believe it because you're like, he's never been touched by another human being. Like basically, that's so fucked. And that's why I really like how he is so likable and still has that innocence, even though he's doing fucked up shit. It's like he doesn't really know any better.
Yeah.
But also you kind of are like, you know what? This girl's dead. So like he's technically bringing back someone new, just like his creator did. It's not the worst thing ever. Like, I mean, granted, she's dead, but like now has to be alive again. But it just feels like out of all the things, like it's not as bad as Passengers. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
That's where Chris Pratt deserves to fucking get shot by the firing squad in that movie, whatever it is, because he's the worst. But Frank in this movie is just like trying to do the only thing that he's ever known, which was create something. And also like, it's not like he's going to go get a prostitute. Like as she's like, I'm sure there's easier ways. And I just love that the assistant comes in and sees him and just screams and drops everything. It's like, maybe not. But also like, oh, what are we going to find? Just like a plucky redhead? Like this is going to be weird, right? And you're always like, yeah, like I never understood like the bride was just going to be a woman. That makes more sense. But it's like, wouldn't Frankenstein have wanted, the doctor at least wanted to create her from multiple people? But I'm glad that they didn't. And I love the fact that like she has the stained lips. It's like her voice is finally given to her, a voice. The whole movie, she's given other people's voices, I feel. This character.
I love whenever she switches voices, like
it's so
mid
fun.
sentence. I'm like, holy
Yeah.
shit, Jessie Buckley.
And I've seen this in other movies where actors will be like, I'm going to portray two personalities. Okay. And then one of them, though, is going to be British and the other one's not, so that it's easier to like, you know, to like figure it out. Obviously, Mary Shelley, I think it was from overseas, somewhere, Geneva, right? Switzerland. So who knows what the fuck her accent was. Maybe that's not where she actually lived. I don't fucking know. But she could have been British. She might not have been. But the movie Dreamcatcher, there's a guy who does that for there's the actor in that. You've seen that movie.
Yeah.
Finally. But the actor in that does it, for Jonesy, for his other personality. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. You know, there's a fine line with doing a British accent for another personality. But you know who else? I would say this movie, her portrayal of the split personalities reminds me of like the same kind of performance as like James McAvoy in Split.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Oh yeah.
Like
But
insanely different between the two, but also like she's more doing it like throughout the whole fucking time. She's not really like one character, you know?
yeah, it's very fluid how she switches. And the thing that I also like about her is like, it's not just like her voice or her accent changes, but it's like her whole attitude and like tone changes. Like she'll be like soft spoken, but then when Mary Shelley kicks in, it's like vengeance, harsh, like rhyming words erratically. Yeah.
Honestly, I just feel like it's reckoning. This whole movie is like the reckoning of being just like a fucking angry woman right now in any time that you're alive, because like there's a lot of things just standing in your way that like society doesn't give a fuck about, and like things that are stupid, but like that you have to deal with and like smile through, and everyone wants you to fucking smile. I really enjoy the idea of like taking from this movie the mantra of I would prefer not to. Like women should be, that's a great message, that women should start saying no more, because that is like one of the biggest things as a woman, is that you're pressured to say yes, or feel like you have to say yes, or feel like you can't just say no flat out. And I feel like, yeah, it's like a thing that she says multiple times, and it might seem silly, but like it is something that I think women should be thinking about, because I feel like I'm always just wanting to be a yes man, yes woman. But to say like I would prefer not to more often, and be allowed to say no, and take back that power, it feels like, because there's a lot of people right now, even today, trying to work to take away women's right to vote and shit like that, and take away our voice. Very much like, I mean, that's really the theme. Even though there's a lot of ideas in this movie, every single like group or like thing that they're doing has to do with like either someone being silenced or not heard, or like being pushed down. And like especially females in this movie. The only man I would say is Frank. He's the only one that's kind of on the same level, but he's a monster. So, but I
He-
really enjoyed their relationship throughout, and I thought it was like, even though it's not like authentic at the beginning, and for a lot of it, I think like I don't like it. I'm glad that they still like she wants to be with him after she has her whole epiphany at the end. Were you still rooting for them, or did you think like, why the fuck does she want him anymore?
I mean, they have such good chemistry in this movie. Like
That's what I'm saying.
it's
It, like,
hard
just
to
makes you root for
hard to
them.
not root for them. Also, like they have such a good like arc of them being really awkward together at the beginning, and her like trying
Like
to
she
blow
comes on
him,
to him.
and then he's
Yeah, and
like,
he's like,
no, and
"Oh,
she's like,
what?"
oh, I thought it was late in the mood or whatever, and then like
I was just trying to be friendly or something. You're like,
yeah,
this is great shit. Like
and
it
then,
is a great like romancing of each other that they do.
yeah,
Like it's almost like an arranged marriage in that way, where he just kind of like picks her out of a lineup and then that's it.
yeah,
So
and
it is like this slower like getting to know each other, but it is
yeah.
really sweet.
Yeah, and then like they go on their whole like road trips and they're just fucking and having a good time and going
I
to the
mean, the monster
movies.
sex is pretty hot.
Not too shabby.
I heard that Maggie Gyllenhaal had to cut some of the like violence in the movie because people said it was a bit much. And I'm like, she did say like, I feel like people try to censor like female directors more than male directors. Like they could get away with it. I was like, I wonder if that's also true because I could see it. They're like, that's too violent for a woman. But Tarantino, that's fine.
Oh,
Like
Scorsese, let's do a
or
3.5 hour long movie.
yeah, with lots of just throats getting cut. But her, it's like, we'll give you one curb stomp, and not two, not
so-
three,
So
just one.
in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, there's no sex. I mean, Jacob Elordi's hot, but there's no sex. This
I would have
movie
been into some monster sex in that movie. I'm not
this
gonna
movie
lie.
made me think when they were fucking, I was like, I wonder how long the doctor spent picking out a dick.
I mean,
like,
it's got to be something that he considered for a while,
like-
unless he found like the perfect set of like thighs and butt that's attached to it. But I imagine that's all like wrapped apart.
Yeah.
Literally, he's got to be like the perfect rod for this. I mean, this huge guy, right? We got to have a dick to match. Unless Dr. Frankenstein was a total asshole. We don't know. Maybe the Oscar Isaac would be like, well, you're tall, but and you're beautiful. I'm not going to give you that too.
Yeah, it's like,
But-
would the doctor be like, well, I can't give him a dick bigger than mine?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Or is it like, this is my greatest creation, I have to give him the biggest dick I can find? Like,
I don't know. I'd be a little nervous if I made somebody with a big dick, and then I'd be like, what if they're going to kill me with their giant cock? That's how I die. And I'm like, I knew I should have given him a small or micro penis. Never would have been able to choke me out with
well,
that.
and then you got to think about the balls. You got to get balls that
Yeah.
match the dick.
I would hope they came with the right package. If you're mixing and matching that's going to be some fucked up shit, man. You don't know how that shit's going to work together. The systems, it's like probably connected a sprinkler system, I would imagine. That'd be fucking crazy.
But
I heard that there was a scene though, I don't know if this was part of the sex scene, but one of the other scenes she cut was a scene of Christian Bale licking the black fluid that she like vomited up like off of her neck. And I was like, I still would have been fine with it. I think.
Well, he does that whole licking her neck at the end of the movie. So
That's what I was saying. So like maybe it's part of that, or maybe they were just like, she'll like, I'll just have him lick her neck later. It'll be like just an inside joke for people who know. Like I had to edit out the black liquid, or maybe it's just like a throwback to an earlier scene. Give me the black vomit lick cut.
yeah.
Like give me that dirty monster sex cut. Sounds like maybe there's somewhere.
Release the Gyllenhaal cut.
Yeah,
but
but speaking of Gyllenhaals, we haven't even mentioned. Well, we barely mentioned, but Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes. Well, I want to.
We'll
I want
get
to.
to it
I want to
after that.
answer your original question.
Sorry.
So I liked that they ended up loving each other. I really liked like that whole thing where she realizes that he has been lying to her, and
The oysters, which is a nice tie back.
yeah, and she goes through her kind of wave of like, fuck this guy, and Mary Shelley is all in on hating this guy. But then he's having like his asthma or panic attack or whatever it is that he has, and the fact that she takes him to the movies at the end to help calm him down, it's a very sweet thing. And it's like, he did lie to her, but he does love her. He's like overly infatuated with her. And what they did have together was real. And
Even though
so
it's based on lies, which is basically the plot of every romantic comedy of all time, That's not
Yeah.
even that fucked up. That's
Yeah.
like every single one, somebody's conning the other one for 90% of the movie. And
Yeah.
then they find out, oh wait, we really love each other. You're
but
right.
then like it does culminate in her choosing her identity. Like she's no longer Ida. She's not Mary. She's the bride.
And
And
she's
it's
not
like
his bride. It's just the bride. I like the fact that they take off of Frankenstein, and it's like, I just think that's a great move to do because it gives her freedom.
The whole movie is like kind of a story of her deciding who she is. It's not her finding out what her old identity was, her old life. It's her deciding. It's her deciding who she's gonna be. Going forward.
She has a second chance now to do something and be different, and she's already like the fact. I could if this movie had done well, I could see them doing more.
I mean, I
don't know if there would be more.
If any movie does well, we could see them doing more. This is a movie I would hope that they wouldn't. Like, this is a really good one and done story. I
just want more Jessie Buckley as the bride. Personally, that's just all I want. I would love her and Lady Gaga in a movie with this vibe because it feels very Lady Gaga-esque, don't you think?
Yeah, I would love a director's cut of this movie. Like, I would love like a 2.5 hour cut of this movie. I think there's gaps you could fill out.
It's not too long, right? Like, I feel like you could add more to it. It could add some more stuff. I love so much of it, but I agree. I think that there's more that we could add to it. Maybe that would fill it out a bit more, like you're saying. I also love the fact that like Penelope Cruz at the end like helps them out and like kind of saves them, like, because it's fucking ridiculous the way those cops are just shooting her down. It's like, hey, after the first 5 shots, like, I think she's done, but it's like more guys keep filling in the room. It's hilarious to me. Like, it's like where are all these police coming from? Holy fuck. And the fact that they all just like keep going, and then finally she's like, all right. And I was like, yeah, I'm surprised nobody said that 5 seconds ago or 10 minutes ago.
But there's that whole final bit where they're all just shooting her up, and then she's
unloading.
Like, we're done. There's a scene in Scrubs where there's like a cutaway flash, one of the weird memory things, and like that exact scene happens, but in a comedic way. And then JD ends the scene with, "It's over. We're done." It's like that scene reminded me of that moment. Like, oh my God, this is great.
That's pretty great because it is like, it's like so much.
Yeah.
It's like so extra. But like, I love the fact that the female detective comes in clutch, and I feel like her character might have been totally able to be cut if not for that ending.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like she did serve a purpose, but I was curious. Can I ask you about Jake Gyllenhaal now? Because he's like in this movie, but not like he's in the movies within the movie, and then he has like one scene, but he's great as like a silent film star, like just really delightful, I think.
Yeah, like when you see him in the background like of the movies, you're like, that looks like a real movie. Like, that's a point.
And he's singing and dancing. I think people forget that like Jake Gyllenhaal is a really good like singer and dancer. Like, he can fucking do all that shit.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, he's never been in, Step Up to the Streets or anything, but like, I think he could fucking jam, is what I'm saying. He's really good in this as the silent film era, like singing, and the movies that they make are so like authentic feeling.
Yeah. And I love the little thing that they have about him with one leg longer than the other, and so he has the shoes like that.
She's like, "Is that your kink?" And like she like slowly lowers her like foot in the theater. It gives me just such delight.
Yeah, and it's like his character is really important to the story because it's really like the only background we get on Frank, in that like why,
and it makes him so relatable, right? Yeah, like, the fact that he's like, I need to go to the movies. Like, you're like, I totally feel this guy.
Yeah. It's like Frank had a run-in with him when he was younger, and like that calms him down, and so that's why he goes to all of his movies and stuff. And then like the whole thing of of Penelope Cruz's character, like identifying that they're going to the same spots as the movies where they take place and stuff.
Yeah.
It's all really, really good, really smart. And then, yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal is really good in that one scene that we have him in where he's just like a total dick to
Yeah,
Frank.
and you're like, of course I was like, I really hope he's not gonna be mean because like Frank is so sweet at this point, even though he is, pulling a long con. He's really good-hearted, and you're just like so like empathetic for him because it's like this is not gonna go well, but you're like, please don't be mean to him. And then it's like, oh, sorry, honey, you're not my type. I'm like, oh, that's like the 1930s version of a total douchebag, just like totally different. But the way that Christian Bale responds to that scene is just so cool, I think, and the way that he like just responds weirdly and kind of freaky, how he starts doing the dance, but it's like he's like like breathing, like having his panic attack in the middle of it. It's just great shit, man. And I think it's so funny how like he has such a small role, Jake Gyllenhaal, but he is just like very natural. He should do like, I'm surprised he's not on Spider Noir. If they do multiple seasons of that, I feel like he'd be a great addition.
I feel like Jake Gyllenhaal just like is doing whatever he wants.
Like, I mean, clearly, because I mean, this is his sister's film. It's funny because like she also, the director, Maggie Gyllenhaal, acted with Christian Bale in The Dark Knight, and now thanks to that movie, now we have this. I'm sure other people are like, fuck, that's horrible. But like for me, I think that's a great thing to come out of that.
Before we wrap up, I did want to shout out my favorite. It's not my favorite. It's the funniest scene in the entire movie, and I'm pretty certain it's a mistake. It should have been caught in editing, but I thought it was so funny when they chase them out of the theater, out of the 3D movie theater, and they chase them out, and then they go to the ballroom where they run a Jake Gyllenhaal. The fact that they run in, like they are still chasing him with torches, and they are still wearing the 3D glasses, I thought was the funniest shit I've ever seen. And I'm like, this feels like a mistake because it totally doesn't fit the tone, but just like they're all wearing it. They bust into the ballroom and they just are still wearing the 3D glass.
That's funny though. I like that. I bet you that's not a mistake. That's probably something that they're like, that's going to be a funny thing for whoever fucking catches that. Cause it is like, they are so angry and distraught that immediately, I mean, it's playing on the whole fucking bit of the, like literally the town mob coming to kill him. But the fact that they're so angry, they wouldn't have even had 1 second to like fucking rip those glasses off. They don't even care that they're wearing them. And then as this whole thing goes on, like she's giving the whole speech and they're doing the dance, they're still fucking wearing them. I like that element. I think that's intentional. I don't know.
I mean, I'm glad it's in there because I thought it might be the funniest thing I see the whole year. I thought
pretty fun. I'm gonna go back and watch that again.
Just that one scene, you'll see they just bust in, torches in hand, and they're still wearing them. It's like,
that's amazing.
I remember wearing those when I was younger. They don't really stay on very well. So the fact that they're still on, like, what were they doing
they were
back
at their
then?
peak. Those things were like maybe out of cardboard in the 1930s. But the last thing I did want to mention was I don't know if I don't think I mentioned it last week, but I've mentioned it before at the Governor's Awards, like a couple years ago, like 2025 or 2024. John Mulaney was like, which is one of the like awards leading up to the Oscars, and John Mulaney was there. And he did a whole bit about how he was sent by his talent agent pages to put himself on tape for the new Maggie Gyllenhaal picture that was like, he's like, Christian Bale, Jessie Buckley are in talks to star. And he goes, so, I'm an actor too. And he's like, and mind you, this was not like I'm being offered the role and it was young cop. He was like, I'm being offered to put myself on tape. And he made a joke about how he did do it, but he didn't get the role. And it was hilarious. But then for the promo for this movie, Maggie Gyllenhaal was like, that's amazing. I think they did send him the like part to read for, but he ended up, I think, not actually putting himself on tape. So she's like, he didn't actually audition for it. But she said that him making that joke made her realize she needed to name the character. But I was like, okay, so it was Officer Goodman. And this is all I wanted to ask, is it's the guy who like makes all those dirty puns to her and then basically tries to sexually assault. Yeah. And like, tries to sexually assault her. Like, what the fuck would that have been like if John Mulaney did it? I almost like I hate AI and I think it's gonna be our humanity's downfall, but like I would kind of die to see his version of that scene because it would be actually really funny, but it would be really dark all of a sudden.
Oh, that would be so rad. He'd say, and you know, I like butts. Like,
It's just like it would be so weird and like so uncomfortable, but like it would just really not work with the way that he is in real life and like the way that he talks. But like I need to see it kind of now, and I'm just curious. Like, do you think that that would have worked in any way? It would have been so weird, but like, don't you want to see it now? I need to see him put himself on tape for this, reading those lines. It's so bizarre.
I can hear his voice and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this would be so off. It would either be the greatest performance of all time or it'd be so awful. But
And it would be just so uncomfortable.
hey,
'cause, like,
lady.
when he starts to assault her, you're like, John Mulaney, he would never. Or would he? Now now I'm gonna see him for who he really is. Maybe he plays a rapist really well, and now I'm concerned. Like, I don't know. It's probably a good move. He didn't put himself on tape for young cop seems like a wrong name for that character, even if it's not even a name. And Officer Goodman feels like kind of an asshole way to name him. It really, I feel like should have just been, Officer Rapey or something. Officer Rape.
I got a quick question for you. Do you like poetry?
I got a few. Like these fucking nasty ass limericks. Like, fuck.
And then she
So he's,
rips his tongue out.
literally, like, so that would be crazy. I honestly would like kill to see John Mulaney in a horror comedy, even just a straight up horror movie. But like, I think he'd have to be in a horror comedy. But like, just so weird. Like, I don't endorse AI, but I would like to see what it would look like if AI could make that happen. I would just watch that and then delete it forever, but it would be kind of worth it because like that would be so bizarre. I'm glad it didn't actually work out, but overall, I'm just glad that you enjoyed this movie and don't hate it because like fucking people are crazy. And if you like out there are listening and you don't hate it as well, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you did hate it, please give us some like decent thoughts. Hit us up on Instagram or whatever on our page and fucking just tell us what you're thinking because I feel like nobody's talking about this movie except that it sucks and they're wrong.
Well, that is it for The Motherfucking Bride.
Nice.
Oh, good watch. Very fun. And thank you for teaching me about some of the stuff that I definitely missed.
Yeah, I'm happy anytime to give you a nice old brain attack, as they would say in the Motherfucking Bride. But we're on to a lot worse and not better things next week, but it will be still a good episode.
Yeah.
Is that an okay transition? I tried to do it.
Yeah, you did pretty good. I'm also dreading watching this movie, but we told you guys a couple weeks ago that we were gonna do it because we love this franchise and the most recent installment really sucked, and we gotta have a therapy session on it. So Renee, what are we watching?
We're going to be watching Scream 7, which is already streaming on Paramount Plus. You can also rent it or buy it, which we do not recommend on video on demand, but it's on Paramount Plus. So just do a free trial if you fucking have to. Or if you already have it, perfect.
Or sail the seven seas, looking for treasure.
That's the number one option I think we should all encourage. I matey. But yeah, it sounds like we're not excited because it's not a good movie and it's a disappointment overall for the franchise, but don't feel bad or don't feel like, oh God, okay, I'm gonna skip next week because it's not going to be a fun watching experience, but it will be a very fun therapy session for the episode next week. So we'll deliver a fun time regardless of the actual movie quality.
And, this is also very important because critiquing something that is important to people is a good thing to do. And the Scream movies are beloved, and we don't have a ton of influence, but we're going to put it out on record that we do not support the direction that this movie seems to be going in. And we got to save Scream if we can. So we're going to shit talk this movie, but we're also going to really dissect it as well as like what went wrong here. How is this movie not even fit the identity of a Scream movie? And yeah, I think it'll be therapeutic. It'll be at least fun.
Yeah, it'll be good afterwards. We'll all feel better. And, you know, it's good to do constructive criticism and to, like, you know, just say, hey, Scream has officially, like, fucking lost the plot, right? Like, they are moving into, like, parody territory of what they do. And no one wanted it to come to this, but it has. So we're here. And that's what we're going to do.
And we're doing it because we love these movies. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's out of love, even if it might not sound like it next week. But regardless, we hope you join us because it'll be fun.
Well, that is it for this week. We'll see you next week on the regular exclusive podcast.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.